All right, court is calling 2002 CR 8385 and 2002 CR 8384 and 2002 CR 8386 State versus Jose Mejia. Can I have parties announce for the record for the state?
Jason Jarrett, Your Honor.
Defense?
Charles Bunk for Mr. Mejia.
All right. And are you Mr. Mejia? And how long has your client been in custody?
Since May, he's been here since May the 9th of 2024.
All right. So,
He spent a little time in another county before he was brought here.
all right. So the defense has filed motions to reduce bond in each of its cause numbers. State, did you have a chance to review the motion to reduce bond?
I've spoken with Mr. Buck about it, but I have not looked at them. I imagine that they're just asking for a reduction.
All right. Were you all able to confer and see if you could reach agreement?
Judge, no, we're not in agreement.
We conferred, we were not able to reach an agreement.
All right. So, and the cause number ending 84, the bond is currently set at $10,000.
We'll waive our request in 8-4 just to expedite the process.
Okay. Any objection to the waiver?
Right.
And then, and the cause number ending in 85, the bond is set at $100,000. And the cause number ending in 86, the bond is set at $250,000. And 85, he's charged with attempted murder. And in 86, he's charged with murder. All right. Defense, it's your motion.
I'll call my client for the purposes of this hearing.
All right. Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you're gonna need to speak up so I can hear
Yes, ma'am.
and so the court reporter can hear. You can lower your hand. State your name for the record.
Jose Mejia.
All right, defense.
Mr. Mejia, you're the same Jose Mejia that's charged in those two indictments, is that correct?
Yes.
And you have been here in the Bexar County Jail since May the 9th of 2024, is that correct?
Yes.
And on these two bonds, the first bond for the attempted murder is set at $100,000, correct?
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
second bond is set for the murder offense is set at $250,000, correct? Now, I know you have family present in the courtroom, am I correct? in that?
Yes, sir.
And can you tell the court which members of your family are present today?
It's my mom, my aunt, and my brother-in-law.
Okay, and if those members of your family attempted to raise the funds necessary to make the bonds that are set at the current amount, have they tried to make your bond?
They tried, but it's like,
Have they been able to?
no, they haven't. My mom don't work, she gets, then she has my niece, she's taking care of my niece.
Now, you yourself, sir, do you have the money yourself to make these bonds?
No,
Do you own any bank accounts?
no,
Do you own any automobiles?
no,
Do you own any property?
no.
Now, you understand the court, if she considers reducing your bonds, she could put you on devices such as the GPS monitor. Do you understand that?
Yeah, they told me.
Okay. And you certainly would be willing to comply with any conditions of bond she would give you,
Yeah,
correct?
in the condition,
And would you live, or if you were released on a reduced bond, where would you be planning on living
with my mom,
with your mother? And does she live here in San
in
Antonio?
San Antonio.
Okay. For the purposes of this hearing, Judge, that's all I have.
All right, just one
I'm
moment.
sorry.
All right.
That's all the questions I have for the purposes of this hearing, Judge.
All right, any questions, state?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Mejia, this case is from 2002, allegedly the murder, the attempted murder and the injury to the child. Is that correct?
Yes,
Where have you been since 2002?
I was in Mexico. I got a wife and a kid over there.
And you had a wife and a kid there previous to 2002?
Yeah, no, after,
After 2002?
yeah,
So from 2002 to the present, other than the time that you've been spent here in Bexar County or in the other
Yeah.
county, you've been in Mexico for the last roughly 22 years?
yeah, years ago, been working and having my family.
So you have a family and
I had a job, I
and everything
had a
down
job,
in Mexico?
yeah.
Okay. No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, any other questions?
Now, Mr. Mejia, you didn't know that you had these warrants to do until you were arrested, correct?
Yeah, I turned myself in,
Right,
like,
once you found
yeah,
out.
because they,
Okay, that's all I have, Judge.
Your Honor, just
Yes.
one other question. You said you turned yourself in Mexico?
Yeah, like I told them I was American because they wanted to lock me up. They kidnapped me from a car with my son. They took me away from a taxi car.
And you're aware, who kidnapped you from?
The cops.
The cops,
Yeah,
the Mexican,
yeah.
and then they turned you over to.
No, they didn't turn me in. I told them I was American. They didn't turn me in. I volunteered to go.
What, are you aware of why they picked you up from that vehicle?
No, they never told me nothing. They never told my mom nothing. They never told my wife nothing. They just got me and left my son in the taxi.
You're not aware if they are aware that you had warrants out for this murder and attempted murder and injured your child?
No, because if they knew, I had a job and everything. They never arrested me. I've been arrested over there, and they never sent me over here. You know what I mean?
Well, I guess my other question is, you're not aware of a task force that was formed of recent time in the last year that was gaining people that had, or detaining people in Mexico that had warrants out for attempted murder, but the American side and the Mexican officials
I
have
didn't know none of that.
not aware of that.
No, I wasn't aware.
Thank you. No further question.
All right, any further questions?
That's all I have, Judge.
All right. The court will hear argument, and just off the record for a moment. Edelman? All right, thank you so much. All right, we're back on the record. Yes, I'll hear argument.
Just on behalf of Mr. Mejia, Judge, we're asking the court to consider he's testified he does not have the money available to make the bonds. We're asking the court to consider the reduction of the bond, the 250, we're asking the court to reduce that $250,000 bond to a bond to consider reduction in the amount of $125,000. The $100,000 bond, we're asking the court to consider reducing the amount of $50,000. We're certainly understanding the court will place Mr. Mejia on GPS full house arrest, and we're certainly okay with that. He has a residence here in San Antonio to live with his mother, who is present in the courtroom. He's been present in every setting. The monitor gives the court the guarantee that he will continue to come to court. As he testified, he did not know. Yes, he was in Mexico, but that's not because he did not have these charges and flee the country. It's not a situation where he was on bond and left. That would put the court in a completely different perspective, I believe. So, having no evidence that he knew of the charges before he left, I certainly think the court could consider this reduction as a reasonable request. He has been in jail since May 9th of 2024. We don't think the request is unreasonable. We're asking the court to consider the reductions and grants the defense request for bond reductions in 2002, 8385 and 2002, 8386.
Judge State's position is, for one, that he's aware of the murder, attempted murder, and injury of a child that happened. That's like in Wisconsin, Mexico, and it's been there for the last 2 years. So when that argument, he is a fighting risk. And also, there's the actual charges, the several charges, the state would be in a position that it's a state to give the community. We would be.
All right. In each motion, the court is going to deny your application for reduction. The court will include full GPS. If released, waive all fees as it relates to GPS. And counsel, if he is released and there's an issue, because sometimes there's an issue where GPS thinks there should be a payment, just let the court know and I'll make sure that's done.
Yes, Judge.
All right.
Do we need to address the next setting for the court
Yes.
while we're here?
All right. So with regards to each of these cases, counsel, do you know if you have discovery?
Yes, Mr. Garahan has been able to get the discovery uploaded through the various formats that were antiquated at the time, or antiquated now, present at the time. I believe I have everything that they have.
All right. And so what I will do, state, were you able to tender an offer or no?
No, not today, Your Honor. Mr. Buck asked for an offer today, but I was not prepared to take an offer today.
All right. So what I'll do is I will reset this so the state can tender an offer. What is a good date for you, counsel?
What time frame are you looking at, Judge?
I'm thinking in April.
Okay. Sometime end of April, somewhere in there?
Well, it would have to be April the 28th.
April the 28th, okay.
As you know, my mom's birthday is before that.
Yes, so the 28th is good, Judge.
All right, Ms. Ferguson.
Is that fiesta?
Oh.
Yes, that is Fiesta.
I don't want to ruin their fiesta.
Understood.
So I can put it May 1st.
That's fine.
All right, Deputy Laura, May 1st, because I understand fiesta is over.
Yes.
In the month, am I right? In the month of May? Oh, look at Raymond shaking his head. Okay, so he just throwing, okay. All right, so we're going to be back then on May 5th,
May 5th.
Cinco de Mayo.
Okay.
All right. Yes, it's for discovery and for the state to tender an offer. But just have an acknowledgement of discovery right on that day. All right, is there anything else?
No, Judge.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
For being on the run for 22 years, authorities took a man suspected of murder into custody this morning. The San Antonio Police Department is releasing the details leading to his arrest across the border. The Night Beat's Avery Everett shows us how after more than 2 decades, officials finally found Jose Mejia.
A suspected criminal caught after 22 years. This photo shows Jose Mejia. On Saturday, the San Antonio Police Department released details of his arrest, revealing he allegedly shot and killed a man, and he has been free to live his life for more than 2 decades.
So let's go back to the start of this case. It happened on April 26th of 2002. 3 people, including a 6-year-old child, were shot after a drug exchange. We know one of those men died due to his injuries, and his name was Leroy Campos.
SAPD says multiple people identified Mejia as the shooter back when this murder first happened. On Saturday, police said this was never a cold case. The department says a warrant was out for Mejia's arrest. They just had to track him down. For 22 years, SAPD says this man was on the run. But back in March of this year, the Lone Star Fugitive Task Force with the U.S. Marshals Service took over this case and the arrest warrants out for Mejia.
So how was Mejia finally caught? Well, at the beginning of May, SAPD says U.S. Marshals started working with Mexican authorities. During an investigation, information came out that he was residing in Mexico. He was found, then arrested, and then transferred into U.S. custody. SAPD says he was then transferred here into San Antonio and taken into custody at the Bexar County Sheriff's Office.
SAPD says the mother of Leroy Campos was overjoyed hearing that the man who is suspected of killing her son was finally caught, because now, even after 22 years, her family can begin to find closure. Avery Everett, KSAT 12 News.
Hey, Joseph, anything you want to say? Are the accusations true? What can you say to your family? To anybody?
Any regrets about ending up here?
Why did you cut your monitor?
Why'd you pull a gun?
Anything you want to say before you go? Are the accusations real?
So the individual you just saw is Joseph Olivari. Joseph, common spelling, Olivari, Olivarri, 38 years old, SID number 824084, 824084. So in the early hours of February 16th, it was a Saturday night going into Sunday morning, there was a large fight that broke out in the area of North Alamo and 9th Street. During this large fight, there was a shooting that was reported, and so it was a real big kind of a dangerous situation. When officers arrived, they began investigating the fight and the shooting. Multiple witnesses identified Mr. Olivari as the person who shot the firearm at that scene. So Mr. Olivari was detained, and as officers ran his information, they discovered that he was actually a felon from a previous conviction. And so he was arrested that night for discharging a firearm in certain municipalities, as well as a felon, unlawful carry of a firearm by a felon. He was arrested, taken to jail, and then he posted bond and was issued an ankle monitor. And then a couple days later, on the 19th of February, he cut off his ankle monitor, and that triggered a warrant to be issued for his arrest for tampering with the electronic monitoring device, which is a 3rd-degree felony. So our SAPD covert unit along with the help of the U.S. Marshals Lone Star Task Force, began looking for Mr. Olivari. From that point till today, when he was finally apprehended somewhere over on the east side without incident today. So that's all I have. You have any questions for me about this?
What kind of arm did he have?
It was a handgun. I don't know exactly the model or the make of it, but
Did
it was.
he shoot at any officers?
He did not shoot at any officers that I'm aware of. No, because he would be charged with something other than just discharging in a municipality. So.
Can you tell us what his federal warrant was for? What he was charged with?
So he had a parole violation for years, and I believe had to do something. I think he was bringing narcotics into a secure facility, a prison or a jail. And then today, the warrant was for tampering with the electronic monitoring device, the unlawful carry by a felon, and the discharging of firearm in certain municipalities.
And he was arrested on the east side, you said?
Yes, sir.
Do you know how they figured out his whereabouts?
It was just good work, good collaboration between our covert units and the U.S. Marshals Lone Star Fugitive Task Force.
Can he pay a bond again?
That's out of our control. That's going to be with the judge, whoever gets magistrated.
Last question.
Let's get the facts straight. She loves a verbal ashtray. Never blowing smoke when she gets pissed. She's quick to castrate. Love her on a good day, love her on a bad day. Either way, she's here to stay. Call up, holy,